Morning guys, happy Friday and GM. Welcome to the daily macro update for today, Friday, February 23rd. What's going to be on the agenda today is we'll take a look at how the overall market is doing technically. We'll do a little bit of some headlines for Bitcoin and then take a little bit of a dive into what I have currently for my portfolio and my plans. So taking a look at the QQQ, the overall stock market. I've been looking at QQQ since it's a higher beta play or more volatile than the S&P 500. I think this is a little bit better of a proxy to see how equities are doing and just to get an overall view of how the current market is doing. In yesterday's market, actually it gained about 2.9%, one of the best days that the market had in over a year or so. This is great, and we talked a little bit about NVIDIA yesterday. Essentially, the positioning was de-risking, and NVIDIA was selling off after the news and after NVIDIA peaking and hitting, 15% overnight. That kind of let the market know that the earnings and the companies, and at least the Mag 7, were doing very well, and they're going to continue making and generating revenue, which eased the market and allowed it to continue moving up. Today it's a little bit flat, so the market is up about down about 0.515%, so a fraction of a percentage. From a technical perspective, looking at the daily chart, we have a 2 for a sell countdown, indicating that we are currently in an uptrend. I think that's probably the right projection for the market, seeing how revenues and NVIDIA did so well, dragging up the whole entire market as well. As you saw from some of these DeMark indicators, they actually worked out very well with camouflage and differential, flagging that it could potentially be reversing direction already during that day that we had the sell-off back on the 21st. From our RSI perspective, we tapped the oversold boundary, and now we're slowly moving back up, which I think is good. It's going to allow the market some room to move up and kind of proceed forward and keep charging forward. I actually had a question from Jesse, who's one of our viewers, about DeMark indicators and specifically about different time frames and how different indicators work. Just from my perspective, the longer the time frame, the better the indicators work, and that's why most folks stick to the daily chart for trading. It makes it a little bit easier. As you get shorter in time frame, the 4 hours, the 2 hours, the 1 hour, the 60 minutes, the 5 minutes, the 5 minutes, basically the data gets less and less, accurate. And so the market indicators work like a lot of other indicators, and they actually work better on a longer time frame. So in your daily, it works out pretty well. Your weekly, it works even better. And then on your monthly, it probably works the best and gives you the best trending of data. So that's why I use the 3 different time horizons in my trading. I use the hourly to basically time my entries and exits, and then I use the daily as my main trading tool. If anything, there's any conflicting information and conflicting data, I'm going to look here to my daily to confirm, and then I use my weekly chart basically to essentially use it as a roadmap or a GPS of where things are heading into in the general direction. Thanks, Jesse, for the question. And you see a lot of people, touting that day trading and working on the hourly and the minute time chart might work for them. It depends. I had to kind of go through this journey and figure out what's the best time frame for me, and I determined that the daily time frame was the best time frame for me. Basically, essentially, with the shorter time frames and the shorter time horizons, I think there's less room for error. For me specifically, I like the daily since I don't have to be at my screen every single hour, minute, and second of the day. I can put on some positions, stay there, wait a couple of days, weeks, and then move on from there, and then actually kind of live my life and not stick to the screens all day. And I'll go over a little bit and through my portfolio, but a majority of my portfolio is actually invested in the long term for at least 6 months or so. Majority of that, and I trade about a very small percentage of my total net worth in there. So back to the charts, it looks like QQQ and equities are, in a general uptrend. Doesn't seem like we're going to hit any resistance or any speed bumps or turbulence until 452 in the hourly chart. Then looking at the weekly chart, very similarly, it has a higher time frame. So we have an upwave projection of 470, and we don't really have any more resistance above that. So overall, generally looking, the market looks really good right now, and it's in a general uptrend. Let's dive into what Bitcoin and what's that's doing right now. Okay, diving into the Bitcoin charts. Here in the daily, again, like where I'm looking at, we have a buy setup countdown indicating that it's currently on a downtrend, at least from the daily time frame. We do have some lower resistance level here at 50,000, so I don't foresee it going below this 50,000. If it does, the next level of resistance or support is going to be at $47,000. Even then, I still think the market is very super bullish right now, and I'll go over some of the reasons after we look at the chart. From the RSI perspective, we're losing some momentum here. We're getting down to the oversold condition. Again, this doesn't always mean it has to move down in price. Sometimes even time will allow the RSI to reset and then allow things to pick up momentum wise. We still have the same upwave projections of $58,000, and on the daily an hourly time perspective, seems like we're kind of bottoming out. We have a sell countdown of 3 as well too, so we could see continual slide down, but nothing concerning and nothing that would be worrying me. We do have a lot of support here down at the 50,000, the 49,000, and a lot of major support at the 49,400 level. Again, we do have a decent landing pad to be able to land Bitcoin, and from a hourly perspective, this decline is not worrying me at all. From a weekly perspective, RSI is looking to move back up. We have basically D-wave here. Some of these D-wave projections or indicators, they do kind of project what's happening right now. This right now is indicating a top, but you got to take a look at the market from a different perspective. As with all indicators, sometimes they work great and sometimes they don't work that great, and you got to kind of add your own little bit of subjectivity to it. Again, I think the market still has some room to go, so I don't think this is this could be maybe just a local top that it's presenting to us here, but nothing of a major top. We do have some lines for a qualified projection of 75,000, and with the way that the ETFs and the economy and everything is flowing, I think this could be very possible within the next couple of months and over the next quarter or so. So looking at the Bitcoin ETF flows for today, so we covered it about on Tuesday, and where we had a little bit of a downtrend. It actually bottomed, and we had some outflows of right a couple, I think maybe under $100 million of outflows net. But from yesterday's perspective, we actually gained some momentum to the upside, and it seems like the inflows into the ETFs are going to be picking back up. We're not going to really see kind of the long-term effects of this just yet, and I'm gonna keep watching the price action and see if this does have an impact on this, and keep going this over ETF flows with you guys on a consistent basis, just to see what kind of impact it has on price. But again, I don't see any major concerns for Bitcoin at the time being, and this Bitcoin ETF inflows helps support this case. Another interesting part is taking a look at some of the social perspectives of Bitcoin. This is the Google trends for Bitcoin searches. As you can see, we've hit some peak searches around the 2019 top. We saw a lot of high elevated action during the 2021 market cycle bull run, and then we've seen some downtrend. I think from most of the perspective, most of the research that I've been listening to, retail investors have not even begun to understand how Bitcoin is moving and how quickly it's moving and some of these ETFs perspective. I've talked to my friends and some of my other people who used to be into cryptocurrency, and a lot of them haven't been even watching the price action for Bitcoin like I have, and they don't kind of see this bullish momentum. Again, that's just a good indicator for me that the price has a lot more room to run. And then we'll take a look at some on-chain metrics later as well too to help support that case. So looking at some of the on-chain data, that's the great thing about Bitcoin. So you can layer on different types of analyses, and this is why I love the crypto market so much, just because you can layer on, we just went over some social dynamics and social analytics of Google searches. You can do technical analysis with DeMark and any other technical analysis that you enjoy. And then lastly, what you can do is also do on-chain metrics. And this is all data. On-chain metrics is actually pulled directly from the blockchain. Companies like Glassnode and there are other providers out there that provide you data. Some of them are actually even free as well too. And then you can actually see. So looking at some of these, some of the ones that I take a look at is the investor tool, which is helping people navigate the market tops. Basically, the investor tool looks at when price is trading under the 2-year moving average and when the price is trading 5x of the 2-year moving averages. As you can see, this is able to mark out a couple of good tops here in the 2013 cycle. Again, here on the 2017 top as well too. This deviated way above the 5x of the moving average. Besides just picking out really good tops, it's also a good bottom picking tool. When this is under the 2-year moving average, it also indicates a good buying opportunity as well too. I used this tool to dollar cost average down to here and was able to pick up Bitcoin on the way down from 30,000 all the way down to about 16,000 before we started trending up here as well too. Again, you can also see this touching, right at the upper band of the 5x of the 2-year moving average here at the 2021 bull market. And as you can see where we are today, we're not even close to that yet. Right now, the moving average for that is the 5x moving average at the top end of the range is at 144,000. I think with the way the ETFs are flowing and the bullish sentiment and everybody rolling into and getting more bullish on Bitcoin and cryptocurrency, I really don't think that's outlandish at all. And I think that might be somewhere, and I'll talk a little bit when I talk about my portfolio when I'm going to do an action plan, but I really do think Bitcoin over $100,000 this cycle is very possible. Another useful tool that I use for on-chain metrics is the MVRV Z-score. It basically shows the distance the price is away from the estimated cost basis of the market, and it basically tries to figure out some of the extreme tops and bottoms for you. So taking a look at this, as you can see from some of these, I was able to mark out. So the score that we're interested in is in orange. I was able to mark out a lot of these extremes in some of these cycles back in 2013. It's also able to mark out some of the extremes in the 2017 cycle. And even though it didn't get into this red territory here, is where it actually did get into this red territory for the 2021 bull cycle. As you can see where we are right now, we're not even close to anywhere near that perspective. Again, I'll keep monitoring this and we'll kind of give you guys updated as we go throughout the cycle and kind of give you guys advice on what to do for the cycle. But again, I think we're very super early into this cycle, and I'm still very bullish on Bitcoin right now. Another interesting headline that I saw here on DGen News' Twitter feed is that Reddit is actually holding Bitcoin and Ethereum in its treasury, and we see that within its filing for its IPO. So here you have the S1 form from Reddit. So the S1 form is used for companies who are planning to go open to the public market and opening for an IPO. I searched for the Bitcoin treasury piece. And essentially, Reddit wants to hold cryptocurrencies as an experiment with blockchain technology. And they understand that they've been accepting Bitcoin and Ethereum as forms of payment for certain virtual goods. And I think we've seen that with their NFT on the Polygon chain. and we're going to see more companies. I know that the last cycle, Tesla and some other and MicroStrategy is already beginning to add Bitcoin and Ethereum into their treasuries. And I think as more of these more younger generational companies, like I'm on Reddit a lot. I do a lot of research on Reddit, and I'm glad that Reddit is moving in this direction of, putting cryptocurrency, putting Bitcoin, putting Ethereum on their balance sheet just to have, some kind of holding with it. And for me anyways, I love what Reddit is doing here and experimenting with this. We don't know what the future holds for that, but, without some of this change, I hope it's for the good, and I hope that it makes it a little bit more transparent for folks and to help the whole crypto ecosystem. So as I promised, this is a little bit of a behind the curtains to what I have for my portfolio. What I'll do is I'll actually do a deep dive with you guys tomorrow on the portfolio, but I did want to give you guys a high level of what some of my allocations are right now. As you can see, a big chunk of it is in Bitcoin. About 50% of my portfolio currently is in Bitcoin, and I'll kind of go and dive into. There's a little bit of a nuance here, and I'll explain in my deep dive. About 18% of my portfolio is in Solana. I have about 2% into Bitcoin ordinals, or the Bitcoin NFTs. Again, like I mentioned in the trading, I'm only trading roughly 4% of my account right now. And during bull markets, what I don't want to do is overtrade and then end up losing money and not making as much money on my long-term investments. I have about 8% of my portfolio in ETH NFTs, and then 10% of my portfolio in Solana NFTs. And then the last piece, I have 8% of my portfolios in equities. So this is just a little bit of a sneak peek into my portfolio. Stick around, pay attention tomorrow while I go over into the deep dives of all the nuances, what projects and what things I'm doing with my portfolio, and give you an explanation of it why. And we'll catch you guys tomorrow.